Yes, everybody, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson. This is Full Time Devils, and this is the Full Time Review, the chance for you guys to have your say on all the action that went down this weekend. Now, coming up for you today, as usual, we've got Jose Mourinho's press conference, we've got the Fancams from outside Old Trafford, and we've also got the legends in United on YouTube. Now, I thought it was a really enjoyable first hour or so of the game. I really enjoyed it. United played quite quick, really energetic football. I thought the movement across the forward three was very good. I thought Marcus Rashford isn't quite getting the plaudits for the movement and how many times he stretched the defence, because as soon as Romelu Lukaku came on, it stopped and it changed. Now, the movement that I thought Rashford was doing really well was constantly pushing that back four back, and that allowed the middle to create a little bit, and I thought that was what United have really lacked lately. And I've also got a little bit of a problem with giving Lukaku a rest and then bringing him on, therefore nullifying the rest that the guy gets. So I don't think that an hour off is going to really do him much good. I think he really needs a couple of games out, let him completely relax, tell him you're not even coming on today, let him totally shut down, get his mind right, because it's as much of a mental rest that I think sometimes these players need as much as it is a physical rest. So I think Lukaku needed taken out, and with the chance that he missed, I actually definitely don't think he did himself any favours, or Mourinho did him any favours by bringing him on, because I think he'd have probably felt worse after that horrendous miss that he missed later on. Now, we're going to talk about Paul Pogba's run-up, believe you me, but I want to know, you guys in the comments, let me know what you managed to do while Paul Pogba was running up to take that penalty, because I managed to get out of the Stretford end, I drove home, I built a dry stone wall, I got back, I queued up for a Bovril, then got back to my seat, and then I watched him miss it. So you guys let me know in the comments, what did you manage to do while Paul Pogba was running up? Because someone says they had a bath and they watched the NFL game as well. So, you guys let me know in the comments what you think the crack is there. So, loads of questions have been thrown up after the victory this weekend against Everton. Questions that were not just getting answered at all, because these performances that we're lurching from terrible to pretty good, not amazing, pretty good performances, terrible performances, week in, week out. Inconsistency is absolutely killing us, and it's the hope, innit? Because we can go into some games and go, if we play like the second half against Newcastle, if we play like we did for 95 minutes against Chelsea, if we play like we did against Everton for the first hour, we can't be consistent over 90 minutes, which makes us unable to be consistent from one week to the next. That's the problem that we've got. Jose Mourinho, he's got some thoughts on that. He's got some things that he's saying, half of him and half the players, and I think he's got a pretty decent point, to be honest. I'm going to come to you guys saying I'm going to come to what you guys are saying in the comments as well. But before we do that, let's see what the gaffer had to say in his post-match press conference.
Your best performance this season?
I think we played very well against Chelsea, especially in the second half. The second half against Newcastle was also special. The first half against Tottenham was phenomenal. We had some nice games and some nice periods. I think this one was complete. Was not just complete because the result was in doubt until the last second. But that is consequence of a goal that you concede, and consequence of some big chances that we miss.
Is there a particular reason why Anthony Martial is playing really well at the moment? Is there a reason? Explain to us why.
Well, if when the players are playing bad is my fault, when the players are playing well is my responsibility. Let's be honest. Or we go to the middle of it, which I think is fair, and say when a player plays bad is half me and half the player, and when the player plays well is half me and half the player. I think he coped well with this development process. It took quite a long time to understand what we want from him. It took quite a long time for his brain, but also his body, to be ready to play the way we want him to play. But in this moment, he's solid. He's playing very well, and even if he doesn't score, even if he's not in his best days to create the way he's creating, his performance is a solid performance for the team, and that's what we need. So very happy with Antonio.
Jose, do you think the second half against Newcastle and Chelsea and today, do you think that's more the Manchester United that you want and expect to see on a regular basis?
In terms of the philosophy and the mentality, yes. But I would like a better Manchester United than we have. For us, in this moment, is almost impossible mission to keep a clean sheet, even with the phenomenal goalkeeper we have, and to score goals is really difficult for us. You can see that in this moment. I think in the last 9 matches, if I'm not wrong, between Rashford and Lukaku, we scored 1 goal, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, last question.
Josie, what do you make of Hull's technique for his penalties? Do you like it? Is it something
The thing I like is the desire to take it. Let me choose the words. I don't want to be punished. I don't like Mickey Mouses. You know?
Yeah.
Fragile, afraid to go. I don't take penalties. I don't like that. I like the player that I want to take. Like, for example, today, Crystal Palace boy. He missed last week against Everton, and today 2 penalties, and give me the ball and I go there. If I miss, I miss, but I go there. And Paul wants to take, and that's for me is fantastic. If he misses, he misses. Can he improve his penalty? I think he can. I think the goalkeepers now, they know he's running and they don't move, and they are waiting until the last second for his decision. So I think he probably has to learn from that. But what for me is the most important thing is that next time we have a penalty, he goes again, and he goes happy again, and that for me is the most important thing.
So there we have it. That was what the boss was saying in his post-match press conference. Weird one again, as usual, from Jose. He's talking about the consequence of a goal conceded and a lot of big chances missed, which made the last 10 minutes as painful as it was, or the last 16 minutes, I guess you could say, as painful as it was. And then he goes on and talks about when players play bad, it's my fault, and when they play good, it's obviously down to them. And I think he's correct in what he's saying there. The truth is halfway down the middle. When they play bad, it's half his fault, half the player's fault. But when they play good, it is half the player's fault and half his fault as well. So we had some pretty good what you did during Pogba's run-ups. We've had people completing FIFA career mode. People had watched the Godfather trilogy, so keep those coming. I'll read some more of those out as we get into it. He goes on about talking about Mickey Mouses when he's talking about those not prepared to take penalties. Not quite sure what he's getting at there. I think he's just talking about those that have got the fortitude to stand up and take a penalty when they need to. But I do agree with him that I think Pogba definitely needs to learn. I think he needs to bin off that run-up. Honestly, it's shockingly and it's embarrassing. I think he just needs to step up on his next one and blast it, and that's going to keep the keepers on the toes, because every keeper now expects this and all the rest of it. So let's just smash it away, Paul, next time, shall we? We've got the fan cams coming up in a second. Before we get to those, I'm going to read out what some of you guys are saying in the comments. Jack, Jose should still be sacked. Martial and Pogba are 2 players. Jose's treated like shit. I've saved his job. He will park the bus next game with Lukaku and Fellaini back in the starting 11. Just because we have a bad performance doesn't always mean it's been a bus parking job. I very much doubt we're going to go to Bournemouth and park the bus. I'm sure I'll come back here on Monday next week and loads of you will say that's exactly what we did, but it won't be what we did. Jacob says, would I like to see Pereira right wing? He reminds me a bit of Willian. I think he's a bit more of a refined sort of player than that. I think he's a lot more talented as a pure skill kind of base. I think Willian's a bit more of a grafter. But I would like to see him as a different choice on that right-hand side, because he can deliver a brilliant cross. And I think crosses are what you need if you want to get the best out of Big Rom. And I also think that Big Rom still probably needs a rest. I just don't see when he's going to get that. Will Bailly be here next year, says Ace of Spades. We're not talking transfers in this. This is talking about the match. But I don't know, is the honest answer, to be honest with you. Russell says, during Pogba's run-up, I met my girlfriend, dated her, and now we're married with 3 kids. Give Marshall 240k a week. Marshall's contract's an interesting one. I think he'll sign. I think the way he's been playing, he's completely justified his place at the moment. He's definitely keeping Sanchez out, and that is the right thing to do. And I think everybody will be upset if we see Sanchez back in the team over Martial next week. Absolutely. Edgar says, really don't give a fuck about Jose. He's a moron, and you guys are boring, bashing our own ones. None of the keepers. Oh, he's deleted it. There we go. He didn't even believe his own bullshit. There we go. I want to see Bebe back at United, says Los Locos. Okay. Daniil says, Steve, what do you think about our terrible defence at set pieces? I don't. Yeah, we are terrible. We're terrible at set pieces going forward. When was the last time we really threatened from a corner? Like, regularly. It just doesn't happen, does it? We might get lucky and occasionally something can happen at a corner, but it's not like when we had Beckham delivering great balls into the box all the time, Scholes lurking on the edge of the box, Vidic would be a threat in the air that would always get on the end of something. We might get the occasional thing nowadays, but it doesn't seem like there's a... people clap when we get a corner and you go, why? What are you clapping for? Nothing's going to happen. We're going to hit the first man again. We definitely need to go and get lessons off a championship team to see how we should be acting at attacking and defending set pieces, because we're absolutely terrible about it. If Marshall left, who do you reckon we could get in the summer to replace? We're not talking about transfers. Do I think Fred played well? I think the pace in the middle helped, says Peru. I absolutely do, mate, yeah. I do think Fred was a massive part of why we played well. I thought his energy in the middle, his willingness to drive the ball forward, he was always looking for that forward pass. And I think he's got a little bit of a bite to him and character to him, and I do like that, you know. Russell, Martial, finesse shooting all over England at the moment. Yeah, can we just take a second and just say how good was that finish from Tony Marshall? It was absolutely filthy. You know, let's have a look at that. Righty, let's see what all the lads had to say and lasses in the fan cams outside Old Trafford this weekend.
It was really good. We played a lot of positive football. Like over 90 minutes, you might not say everything was perfect. You might say there's still lots to do. But we actually showed lots of attack intent as opposed to just possession in the final third. We've had a lot of games where we've had the ball but not really any action. Whereas this was a game where we had the ball and we were looking to create all the time.
See, we've been asking people today, do you think we should give Jose till the end of the season to get this right?
Adam, to the end of the season, now, what's the point? What are we going to do this season?
You don't think he's going to rescue this despite results today?
We played against Calvert-Lewin, for Christ's sakes.
When they're confident, they look good, don't they, them players?
Of course they do, but they're going to out there. The Man United players at the end of the day. We don't buy crap players. Them players are not crap. They just need to realise who they're playing for and what shirt they're playing in. And when they go on there, they need to give more than when they're playing at their old clubs. It's all right, you'll get away with that at other clubs. You won't get away with that here.
5 goals in 7 games now. We hear the discussions for his contract still ongoing. Do you think he will sign? Do you think what is your thoughts on that?
Well, I'd obviously love him to sign. I think that if he left, he'd go somewhere else and he'd just become a world beater. That's what it feels like. We cannot let him leave Manchester United. We can't let him leave Old Trafford. He's too naturally good. Even if sometimes he might not work the hardest, his natural ability is so much better than most players. He's better than 99% of players in that regard. And if he continues to work hard, which hopefully he will, he really does have the ability to go on and be one of the best players in the Premier League.
Hey, Fred came in, done really well. Matt's was the man again today. He's definitely done. Pogba though, are really good or really low. You know what I feel? The hay always solid, but Rashford though, mate, stretches the whole thing. Everyone's scared of him as soon as he came off.
He didn't score today. He had a chance to score, didn't score. Did you think his all-round play was good enough?
His all-round play was always good, mate. His angles, everything he linked was brilliant, but he's always had that threat, so he has to have 2 men on him. Where when the Lukaku comes, he's back to the ball, innit? So he's easier.
Pogba and Martial with the goals, and they were central to everything for United today. What do you think about it?
Dropping Lukaku is what we needed. He brought pace in, even when, he came on for Rashford, and I'm thinking, Rashford will be winning them balls, going fast, that's what we need. Interlinking, it just looked amazing. Pogba, it looked like he brought the best out of him with Fred next to him, having some pace next to him. I thought we did really well. It shows that we've got it. The potential's there, we can definitely do it. So I think just onwards and upwards, keep going. I'd play the same team that played today against Bournemouth.
Paul Pogba was majestic today, mate. I've criticised him in past few weeks and whatever, but today he was awesome, mate. He was integral to our midfield today.
There we had Raheem and all the rest of the guys, and Sam and everybody that you used to seeing in the fan cams. You want to check out more of those, you can go and check them out on the YouTube channel. They're all up there now for you. So interesting with Raheem there saying, what's the point? What we're going to achieve this season? On one hand, he's got a point. On another hand, there's a lot to be achieved over the course of a season. Building and planning. Seasons aren't just taken out in the snapshot where they start and end. they're a work in progress, and that work can continue into the following season. So there's always things that we can do to improve our chances to go into what we're going to do next season. And that, let's be honest with ourselves, might include appointing a director of football. It might include appointing a new manager. Both of those things could happen, and both of those things could happen now. That sets us up for next season. You don't just end this season and then start again completely fresh next season. It's always a work in progress. So I think there is definitely a point still to what's going on this season. We also had people talking about how Juan Mata is the man and how well he knitted together what's been going on at in United's attacking fluidity these last couple of games, and I completely agree. He needs to be played central for me, though, because when he's played on that right-hand side, what we saw yesterday was a complete void on the right-hand side. Juan Mata did his best work centrally, and that's where he really knitted the play together. Tony Marshall stays out wide on the left-hand side. Marcus was leading the line pretty well yesterday. Nobody on the right-hand side at all. Fred tried to get beyond him a couple of times, but really Fred was played central. Pogba's played central. Nobody on the right-hand side. And I think that's a problem that we've had for a long time. Don't know if it's orders, whether the team has decided that we're going to try and overload all the time on the left. Could be an option, but it looks like a massive void on that right-hand side. And I think we'd make it easier for ourselves if we did have somebody on the right-hand side that stretched the play. Because if you've got Tony Marshall on the left doing what Tony Marshall does on the left, and he's on the touchline, and you've got somebody on the right-hand side and they're doing the exact same thing, that's got to stretch that back four a little bit. When everybody starts to come in, now we'll just stay in these two little channels here and we'll deal with it. And I think that's where we make it really hard for ourselves. Right, let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Zach says, smash that like button, baby. I completely agree. Smash that like button. Like Tony Marshall putting it into the bottom corner. Mata, Marcus, and Martial says, Russell, fire. Whatever happened to the guy with a high voice and a Beatles haircut who used to be on this channel? I think it might mean Ian Smith. He's out there telling jokes. Jacob says, just imagine if we had a right forward or a winger that could do the same things as Marshall on the left. Yep, kind of just been saying that, absolutely. Let's see what Facebook are saying. We've got Gary says, thought Everton were poor, need to play better at Bournemouth or we're just going to get a point and top four will be gone. Now, let's look at Bournemouth, man. Bournemouth is a 6-pointer for us. They sit 3 points ahead of us. If they beat us, they go 6 points clear of us. If we beat them, obviously we draw level on them and we start to finally begin to move up the table. Which is what we definitely need to be doing. Otherwise, it's going to be a bleak one for us. Chris says, only Mourinho could get Marshall playing like he is and still doing his defensive duties. Now, I will agree that I do think that Tony Marshall's defensive duties have improved. There's still areas that I think he needs to step up. I think he's a little bit on the selfish side. There was times that Martial could have been played in with Rashford and he didn't let the ball go. I still think he's out for himself just a little bit. But while he's scoring goals, I don't think you can really complain too much. Jack Coleman, Eddie Howe is a serious manager. We do have to be wary going to Bournemouth, absolutely. Nikolai says, imagine if Roy Keane was our manager now and Pogba performed a penalty like this, Roy would have kicked him out a long time ago. I do think somebody like Roy Keane could genuinely drag the best out of someone like Paul Pogba, because if he cut out a lot of those little antics that he's doing, then I think he would be so much of a better player. And I don't know if we just have to accept that this is in the nature of the guy, that he's going to do those showy things. But because he's doing those showy things, you're occasionally going to see some stupidity from him. I don't know if that's what you're going to just have to put up with or whatever. Maybe that's just what it is. Marshall saves Mourinho, says Hamza. Jimmy says, we lack confident leadership within the team. Too many players playing for themselves. Pogba being the main culprit. You might have a point there, mate. I do think we massively lack leadership. Would I have Eric as manager? I would. I don't think it'd be successful, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't go for it. I would have Eric and Paddy Evra working at the club, doing whatever they want to do, even if it means cutting the grass at Carrington. Righty, shall we see what all the lads and lasses in United on YouTube are saying? Let's take it away.
Uzi says, we never do it the easy way, do we? But that's a team performance. I thought Fred played awesome. Pogba was a little ill-disciplined near the end, but there you go.
So everyone be on apocalypse alert because Graham Souness complimented Paul Pogba, okay? The world is ending. I'm so sorry, I love you all, but it is what it is.
Much better football from Manchester United than we've seen in previous games. For the first 60 to 65 minutes, I thought Manchester United were very, very good and worthy winners today. Anthony Martial having a fantastic game again.
Hopefully the team stays consistent and keeps getting those W's at home.
I thought Pogba played pretty well and Martial played amazing, actually. Anthony Martial played well.
Martial FC. This guy is so seriously talented. It scares me.
Get in. What a performance. What a win. We desperately need those 3 points and we got them. Against Juventus, against Chelsea, we play a two-man midfield, and against Everton at home, we are playing a three-man midfield. I don't know what is the reason behind it.
Stop making it hard on ourselves, boys, but a team performance, a good win. Now we can catch up with the Gooners have slipped up, so that's a good result. And like I predicted, under there.
2-1 to United, solid performance. Anthony Martial continues to perform. Do not take him out, Mourinho. Please, hear me. Do not do it. But Paul Pogba, performing well. And as I said, you know because Graham Souness actually said something good.
Manchester United could have closed the game out a lot better than this. Probably gone on got the third and maybe even the fourth. But can't argue with that. We needed that win. It was a vital win for Manchester United.
Has it been me, or has Pogba been getting more penalty opportunities lately? Anyway, hopefully he stays consistent in getting those penalties.
I think we need to give Mourinho more time to improve the work he's doing, and we just got to be patient a little bit. So, yeah.
I hope Jose now understands that given a run of games, he will show you how good Martial is. I just hope he doesn't bench him in the next few games.
I thought our midfield was very balanced today. Matic held, sat, did the simple things. Fred, very energetic and creative. And the same for Paul Pogba.
I don't know. In every game, he does a single mistake and plays the other part of the game brilliantly. So that's Paul Pogba for us.
Would we like a toffee, Everton? Would you like one? Anybody? A toffee there.
Bournemouth up next. It's going to be tough, but I think we can do it. Come on, United!
Another bad result next weekend. It's going to put us back down to 9th, 10th in the league, and we don't want that. We've got to build on this now. Good victory, now move on to the next one.
That's me, guys. Thank you very much. Emmanuel Silva here. Have a good one.
I'm kind of happy to see boy Jesse get back, so shout out to Jesse.
But guys, make sure you keep it locked to Full Time Devils. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below about this performance. And yeah, I've been Jack Wall. Come on, United.
And overall, a decent performance from us, and I think we deserve to win.
Peace. Oh yeah, subscribe to Full Time Devils.
There we have it. That was everybody in United on YouTube. Make sure you go and check out all them channels for those that have got them, and go and give them a cheeky little subscribe if you'd like to see a bit more of those. Some of the points that was brought up, Fred being awesome, I agree. How it's taken so long for him to get minutes is beyond me. I hope to see him again at Bournemouth this weekend. Now, there's also a bit of controversy going on at the moment. Now, there's talk that Souness complimented Paul Pogba. I wasn't in the studio myself, and what I will say to you is, I once saw a 100-foot T-Rex wrestling a 100-foot gorilla on telly. So if that can be real, then I guess that Souness complimenting Pogba can be real, or maybe they're about as real as each other. Could be green screen trickery and camera effects. You know what these TV fellas are like. Now, Vikesh mentioned that the two-man midfield at home versus a three-man midfield, and seemed to insinuate that one was more attacking than the other. I absolutely, completely disagree with you on that. Like, at the time that Barcelona was at the peak, they played a 4-3-3, and so did Stoke. So it doesn't matter necessarily the formation, it's the intent of what's going on with those players. So a two-man midfield, if both of them are defensive, can be way more defensive than a three-man midfield where there's only one pivot that's defensive and the two number 8s are playmakers that are looking to make things happen. So don't get bogged down on the numbers of things. Sometimes people say 5 at the back is way more defensive than 3 at the back. Not true sometimes, because it enables you to have a 2-striker system up front. It depends on how you implement it, not necessarily a one-size-fits-all, that one thing's defensive and one isn't. Righty, we have got Bournemouth next week in a 6-pointer, so all of the match day coverage is going to be building up to that this week, so make sure to keep it locked to Full Time Devils. And obviously our thoughts and condolences out there with Leicester and everybody affected by the tragedy that happened at the King Power this weekend. We will see you in the next one. Laters.